Good afternoon, everyone. It's September 17th, 2018. Damn, the month is going by, isn't it? Alright, so in this video, and by the way, I have a few pretty good videos here lined up, good topics for you all. In this one, we're going to hit the headlines from a couple of places because it's kind of crazy, and then I will focus on one specific of these articles. First off, the death of 75 million jobs worldwide. Robots and artificial intelligence will take over half of all tasks in the workplace by 2025, warns World Economic Forum. They say that more than half of all tasks in the workplace will be carried out by machines by 2025. That's according to the World Economic Forum, which predicts that AI and robots will kill off 75 million jobs worldwide. What are we going to do with all them people? I think we know what's going to happen to some of those people. North Carolina nuclear power plant declares unusual event following storm and does a hot shutdown. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission is being tight-lipped about an unusual event which occurred at the Brunswick nuclear plant last Saturday, which forced a hot shutdown of both of the plant's generation 5 type reactors 1 and 2. And the Solar Observatory has reopened after some sort of investigation. They're still being tight-lipped about it. I'm not saying a whole lot. You know, there were pictures taken of the sun around the same time as it got shut down, and in those pictures it showed two large disc-shaped, what looked like motherships, and what appeared to be perhaps hundreds, if not thousands, of smaller craft. So who knows what they shut the place down for? I don't. And this is insane right here, okay? And this is what one of the problems I've continuously pointed out about people with authority and people in uniform. They should be, if they're going to be responsible for the things they are, then they should be held to a much higher standard than everybody else in the population. But we don't have that. Instead, what we typically get is people with low IQ scores, maybe not to the extent of retardation, but low enough to where they will follow their orders without thinking too much about what the implications of those orders are. So, you get people with authority in these uniforms, and a lot of people hold them in high regard, and it makes them people automatically vulnerable to the one that decides to be a serial killer, such as the case with Texas Border Patrol agent accused of serial killing spree in Laredo. A U.S. Border Patrol agent has been accused of going on a nearly 2-week-long serial killing spree that came to an end on Saturday after he was arrested in connection with the death of 4 women and the kidnapping of a 5th. And undoubtedly, his position in law enforcement gave him the upper hand. He gave him the ability to get close to these people because they automatically trusted him. The uniform. This is the article I'm going to focus on, but we're going to go through the other headlines first here. Raw video shows dozens of people looting a dollar store as flooding cuts Wilmington off from the rest of North Carolina. A dollar store? They couldn't have done better than that. I mean, I could think of dozens of things, dozens of better opportunities than a fucking pathetic place like the dollar store. I mean, come on. So, a major emergency brings out the best in some people, but in others it brings out the absolute worst. Shocking images of dozens of people ransacking a family dollar store in Wilmington, North Carolina have stunned the nation. It shouldn't, because it happens every time there's a fucking a larger scale disaster like flooding or hurricanes or whatever. Every time, without fail. This happened in broad daylight, and many of the looters didn't even seem to care that a television news crew was filming them. Sadly, this has always seems to happen whenever a major disaster takes place. Our established social order is so vulnerable, and so many people out there will gladly take advantage of others if they believe that there is an opportunity to get away with it. If this is how people will behave during a storm, how will they act once things start getting really bad in this country? Which is why, under no circumstances, no matter if they criminalize your weapons or not, you don't give them up. You accept your label. You accept being called a criminal. And they're still looking for the missing WikiLeaks security expert, and they have no fucking idea. They have recently found his belongings. And lastly, a view of the deadly world order. Maybe I want to do this one. I don't know. Let's see here. The outlook for humanity is not good. Crises that should by now not even exist in the 21st century, they now affect every man, woman, and child on this planet. Still, reality never really sinks in for the people of the world. Hollywood and PR gamers obscure the same evils humankind has endured for countless centuries. Meanwhile, the real villains escape the justice they so richly deserve. We are caught in a vice, mostly invisible prison bars, caught in individual cells fashioned by our own inaction. Here's a window inside the cell you've locked yourself into, a view of the inestimable treachery and evil. And it's true. It's true. We have endured these people and their evils for countless centuries. Now, forget Putin. 4 reasons why Trump is Netanyahu's Manchurian candidate. We're not going to read the whole article, but we are going to hit the reasons. Okay? And this is exactly why I called Donald Trump Trojan horse from the start. But a quote from a great Palestinian writer, I'll try his name, but I doubt I'll get it right, Ghassan Kanafani. But he said, a conversation between, talking with the Israelis is a conversation between the sword and the neck. Should tell you something. Alright, so the first on the list here, 4 reasons why Trump is Netanyahu's Manchurian candidate. First reason, Jerusalem. The city of Jerusalem shall be established as Corpus Separatum under a special international regime and shall be administered by the United Nations. The Trusteeship Council shall be designated to discharge the responsibilities of the administering authority on behalf of the United Nations. That was from Resolution 194 from December 1948. In other words, more than a year after Resolution 181 was passed, the eastern half of Jerusalem was occupied and subjected to a total ethnic cleansing, where not one Palestinian was permitted to remain. But that's the first reason, was declaring Jerusalem the capital of Israel. And Donald Trump isn't only Netanyahu's puppet, he's also the puppet of all the bankers he owes billions of dollars to. Just so you know, just so you understand, this president is no different than any other. And that's why I said that I like him as a celebrity. I like him as a businessman. But I don't like authority. And giving some people authority is just a bad idea. Like Hillary Clinton. Giving all these people authority is just a bad idea. The next on the list, though, is the Iran deal. Israel and Netanyahu in particular have been against the nuclear deal with Iran from the very beginning. Needing a diversion from its own war crimes and violations of international law, Israel has for many years pointed to Iran as a threat to itself and the rest of the world. This was a point of serious disagreement between the Obama administration and Israel, and then Donald Trump put the disagreement to rest, and the United States withdrew from the agreement. And Rand Paul, I think Rand.com, Trump withdrew the U.S. from the agreement despite a lack of evidence that Iran was violating the agreement. But, of course, you know, our government or corporation, it violates every agreement it makes, including the ones with its own citizens. So, there's that. Next is UNRWA. United States can see no benefit whatsoever in denying UNRWA funding, yet this is what the Trump administration decided to do. The very agency responsible for providing relief, albeit inadequate, to the refugees of Palestine was receiving $300 million per year, and you can contrast that to the billions a year given to Israel. which is a drop in the bucket in terms of relief, and of course in terms of the U.S. government's total budget. So they're not going to help the Palestinians. The PLO mission, and this is the last one, a product of the Oslo Accord. The PLO mission in Washington is the de facto embassy of Palestine, and the face and the voice of the Palestinian Authority in the United States. Now, most exactly, on the 25th anniversary of the signing of the accords, the Trump administration announces the closing of the mission. It could have come as no surprise when Netanyahu, who fiercely opposed the accords, applauded the U.S. administration decision. So make no mistake about it. The United States has become a vassal for Israel. The United States does what's best for Israel, in spite of the fact that many Israelis were caught celebrating after 9/11 took place, and many of them were arrested and deported, despite the fact they have called our politicians pawns and all kinds of other stuff, specifically not Netanyahu. So, yeah. Anyway, tell me what you think. Do you think we need to be supporting Israel in any way, shape, or form? I don't. Till next time, kill the state, live free.